Okay?
Yeah, I think so.
You got this, man. Deep breath. Just let it out.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Let's do it.
Quiet on set. And action.
My name's Billy, and I have a lumber storage problem. Feels so good to say. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the shop. Today's project is going to be more utilitarian. I have a serious issue with smaller lumber. I can store longer stuff. I've got storage racks and that kind of stuff. It's the smaller things. It's the offcuts. I keep a lot of small pieces because I make some small projects, boxes, things like that. So I want to keep the offcuts, but it's gotten a bit out of hand. I have to do something about this. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to build this. I want to build a lumber cart. I want a cart that is relatively small in size. Even though I have a decent sized shop, I don't want to take up a lot of room. I want something more space saving. I want to put some casters on it because I want it to be mobile. What I'm thinking is 3 sections. So I'll put some bins in the front that are a bit wider that I can put vertically, put some of the offcuts, more like 12, 14, 16-inch pieces in there. Then I want to have some smaller sections in the back that I can store vertical thin pieces that might be 5, 6 inches wide, but I want those dividers to be removable so that I can make it where it's a little bit flexible depending on what type of lumber I have. And then in the very back, I want just an open section for plywood scraps, panels, particle board, things like that. A lot of those scraps are great for keeping because I use them to make jigs whenever I'm building something. So I do want to keep them. I'm thinking one location for all of those. So now that I have a plan of attack, I need to get some plywood, start building. I broke down most of my pieces and it was really just a bunch of boring plywood cutting, but here's what I've got. I have 2 L-shaped sides, and then I also cut a front, a bottom, a back panel, and then a center divider that goes all the way across. So now I gotta do the joinery for this thing. My rule of thumb when it comes to shop projects is use whatever joinery you feel like doing. You could just butt the joints together and just screw it in if that's what you wanna do. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some dados and then house the plywood into those. So I put a dado stack in my table saw and then put a sacrificial fence on my table saw fence and push it up against it. If you watch my videos for any amount of time, the dado stack is kind of a unicorn in the shop. I don't use it very often. That's because I just don't really like using one. I'd rather use a ripping blade to do my dados. But I have so many to do and they have to be the thickness of plywood. If I didn't use the dado stack, I'd be here all day. I dry assembled the cart, and I haven't done the front panel yet because I want to show you what I'm doing in this front section. So I plan on dividing this into 3 bends, and there's going to be dividers that are the same height as the sides here, and those dividers will go into dados. Now I need to do stop dados on this. I don't need dados that go all the way up to the top because you're not going to have dividers up here, and it's just going to be kind of an eyesore. So there's a couple ways to do stop dados. I could take this panel, go to the table saw, cut dados about halfway up, then stop it, and then take some chisels and clean it up. I could also use a handheld router to do it. But what I decided to do was to take this panel and cut it in half. Now I can do through dados on the bottom and then reattach my panel, and now I have stop dados. And if I really want to shore this up, I could use dominoes or dowels or pocket hole screws on the back side to reattach the top to the bottom. That really depends on, after I get together, if I feel like it really needs it or not, and the glue and the nails alone won't hold it. Check it out, I built a thing. I got everything dry assembled and I really like the way it looks. Everything lines up the way it needs to be. I have the dividers in here in the front, which will be glued in, and then I have 6 sections here in the back that has dividers, but I'm not gonna glue those in. I like the idea of being able to pull the dividers out and being flexible with my storage space so I can make an area wider or narrower. So I'm gonna leave those out. Now for transparency's sake, I'm gonna say that I used 1/2 inch ply for my dividers. Originally I was gonna do 3/4 inch ply, so that's kind of what I drew up in my head whenever I did plans for this. But I was like this much too shy on having 3/4 inch plywood. I already had 1/2 inch plywood. I don't want to go to the store, so I rolled with 1/2 inch. That was a great little project. It's something that was really needed, and I think having a dedicated space for lumber like that is gonna absolutely keep me in check so that I don't keep every scrap wood that I have. If you're interested in more information on this project, hit up the description below. I'll have more details down there. And if you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel. And until we meet again, get in your shop and build something awesome. I dry assembled the cabinet. I dry assembled the cabinet. I dry assembled the cart. What is wrong with me?